Welcome, everyone, to the Trust the Plan podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jim.
And Jim, at Peak Wealth Management, we believe in 401ks.
We do.
We believe by providing education and guidance, we can help you retire with confidence. And there's a lot of people on TikTok and places like that that are talking about how 401ks are a scam. And it makes me really mad. It really does. It's insane. So we found a good one here. Let's play it.
I believe a 401k is a bad retirement strategy. Number one, it's tax deferred. You've likely been told that you're going to retire in a lower tax bracket. The chances of that actually happening are very, very slim. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think taxes are going down, going to stay the same, or going to go up in the future? Number two, you can't touch that money until you're 59 and a half. Number three, it's a variable product, which means it's in the market. And we all know the market is cyclical, and what goes up absolutely has to come down. There's a lot of risk associated with it. If we're headed for a recession or even a depression like some experts are saying, you don't want to risk losing 30 to 40% of your retirement. And number four, did you know that a 401k was not actually ever intended to be a long-term retirement plan? It actually happened by accident. One of my favorite ways to save for a tax-free retirement is a match-funded cash value index universal policy.
Oh,
if you'd like to learn more, make sure you follow this account and drop a question below.
Okay, Jim, it's always about... Oops. Here, let's get rid of this. Okay. It's always about their product that they're pushing, right?
Yeah.
There's two kinds of these videos. One is where the 401k is a scam or a bad investment because they want you to invest in real estate. Mm-hmm. The second way is they want you to invest in life insurance.
Yeah.
Right? And it drives me crazy. I think these people should lose their licenses, honestly. Mm-hmm. So let's kind of pick apart this argument, right? The first one was, it's bad because it's tax deferred.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a funny comment because tax deferral is great, right? I'd rather make money on the money that I'm deferring than not. It allows you to not pay tax on that money. It allows you to earn on the earnings year after year after year. And then the other part of that too is Roth, right? Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about Roth. That's a whole nother direction you can go with it. They talk a lot about tax. Well, if you really want to be tax efficient, pay the tax today and then never pay tax again.
That's right.
How about that?
So there's a couple things, right? Tax deferral is always good. Mm-hmm. In most cases, if you're starting out young, investing for your whole career in your 401, you want that tax deferral so you won't pay any taxes till later. Now, you can do a pre-tax.
Too big for your britches?
I don't know what happened here.
I can make us famous. So?
We're going to have to edit this.
Yeah.
What's the time mark?
Supposing I killed a man.
What a piece of crap. Okay. All right, so be sure that you tell Ashley at 3 minutes, okay? Okay. So here we go. Okay, tax deferral. If I'm young, I'm writing off on my tax returns right now, and I'm getting that tax deferral for decades, right? So it's going to grow to be worth more. Now, if you were doing all pre-tax, yeah, it's going to be taxed in retirement. Will your tax rates be lower? It depends on your individual circumstances. For me, I had a ton of money in pre-tax because I did the pre-tax 401k for all the years. And I decided to switch to Roth because I didn't want to have that big tax liability later. But either way, with the pre-tax or the Roth, I'm enjoying that tax deferral all the way. Now, will the government rates be higher at a future point? They might be because the deficits are out of control. But your individual tax rate might not be. We have tons of people that are writing off at a high rate right now, and they might be able to pull out later at a 12 or 22% rate. So this argument is deeply, deeply flawed.
Scare tactic.
Yeah. Number two, you're locked up to 59 and a half, okay? Well, for some people, they need to be locked up because having access to that money, they might pull it out and spend it. Mm-hmm. But again, it's deferred all those years. It's actually, I look at that kind of as a positive. You can do the loans. You can do hardship withdrawals. For Roth, you can take out your basis. Mm-hmm. So there are ways to get the money out.
Yeah, and like you said, it's what is the objective of the account? We're long-term saving here, right? The goal is to keep the money there for a long time so that you have it when you need it. From experience, right? Giving people access to money doesn't always produce better things.
That's right.
Sometimes it needs to just be set aside.
He also says it's variable, and that's a bad thing. I mean, come on, man. Like, here's the deal. The market averages like 8-9% over the last 100 years. If you embrace risk, you want to take advantage of that. That's the bottom line. And even if you don't embrace risk, you can make 5% on fixed income with low risk, okay? And so what's the problem with that? You get to choose how aggressive you want to be, and all 401k plans offer a money market where you can at least make something with no risk.
Yeah. But yeah, again, that to me, that's a little bit of a scare tactic. It's easy to rile people up and make them think they're going to lose all their money in the stock market. Yeah, we have volatility. We have good years. We have bad years. We've seen a lot, since we've been doing this. But ultimately, we know that, historically, the market performs well.
That's right. And then his fourth one doesn't even make sense. He says a 401k is not meant to be long-term and it was an accident, which is, there's no evidence that he provided, which I'd love to see how he's making that case, because literally back in like 1974 when ERISA was legislated, it was created to allow people to put away money tax deferred. Before then, it was all about pensions, and this allowed a new option for people to save and invest. And the only thing I can think of on this is that people didn't realize how popular it would be.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe by accident it's more popular than anyone ever anticipated, but it still lacks any type of basis for argument.
Yeah, I could see the back when, like you said, in '74, when ERISA was developing this, people were still leaning on pensions, and the pension was going to be what they needed to retire, and thinking maybe this investment account would be a small portion of it. But I mean, I think like a lot of things, right? Sometimes there's unintended loopholes or whatever that end up being a good thing. Like backdoor Roths. Like, I don't think they left it open on purpose, but they don't close it because it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So some of these other videos, they are adding like a fifth option, which are investment fees. Well, yeah, there's always gonna be a certain fee, but let's bring it back to the life insurance case, because all of these 4 or 5 problems in air quotes with the 401, they're much worse in the life insurance contract, in my opinion. We would only recommend a life insurance for investment if someone is already maxing out his and hers 401k, already maxing out the HSA, already maxing out his and hers backdoor Roth IRA, and adding to a brokerage account, and they're still looking for ways to save and invest. Then you might say, well, you could check out this type of life insurance policy, but it's only for super high earners who can already do all those things and contribute and commit to contributing 10 or 20 or more thousand every year for 15 or 20 years. Otherwise, it simply doesn't make sense. Okay, so with that said, with the life insurance, you have tax deferral, okay? So just like a 401, you have the tax deferral.
Somehow it's good in life insurance and bad in a 401k though.
Yeah. The second one, 59.5. Well, if you're looking at any life insurance illustration, there's no way that you're able to pull money out of that life insurance policy in the first many, many years, probably 10 years.
At least, yeah.
Because of the high fees and surrender schedule that's involved here. So you're not able to get the money out. So it's kind of like you're locking into a longer term product. And then his number 3 answer is variable. Well, he's probably pushing an indexed universal life insurance policy. But typically with those, you have like an 8% cap, but then when the market's down, you don't lose. So in a great year, like last year, market's up double digits, you're gonna make 8. But in a year like 22, when the market's down double digits, you're not gonna lose anything. But because you're not getting those high upsides and low downsides, your average is gonna be like 6%, my guess is, okay? In fact, when you do these illustrations, you're not even allowed to illustrate them at 6%. Usually the cap is like 5 point something.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of times too, when you see those caps, they might see an annual cap of 8%, but there's like this other monthly cap where you can't go above a certain amount.
Yeah.
And then those are the kind of things that can really hamper performance. So I don't know that I've ever really seen any of those kind of things hit the caps with any kind of consistency.
Yeah, and they also typically tend to underperform the illustration at the point of sale.
Yeah.
And so he said, what goes up must come down. And that's, not exactly the way I would frame things, right? He makes it seem like if it's going to go up and then it's going to come crashing down and then never recover.
Right.
And, we all know that the market goes up and down, but when we have crashes, it's always come back. Crashes, okay? And then the accident thing. Life insurance, in fact, was one of the original investments, and those products have evolved over the years. But before you had an IRA and a 401k, life insurance existed. They have a very powerful lobby, and they've been able to maintain those tax deferral type investment strategies up until this day. So in terms of accidents, but then the point that I added in, which would be like the fifth problem that we see for people, which is fees, like maybe your investment fee is 1% or something like that. But the costs on these life insurance policies are way more than 1%. Okay?
Yeah.
Way more. And I can't tell you exactly what the percentage is, but if you look at these policies and you look at your statement, you can see they have what we call cost of insurance. They have like what they call a premium load, which is like a commission. They have just monthly expense. Who knows what that is, right?
The caps are an expense too.
Yeah.
The fact that if you have a good market year and you're up double digits and you're not getting the whole thing, somebody is.
Yeah. I get pretty fired up about this for sure, because, when you see on someone's statement that they are paying $2,000 a month, but $1,000 comes off the top as costs, you're like, whoa, that's a 50% cost. So how is 1% on the total balance compared to a 50% sales load? Even after the first year, that's the way it is. So there's a lot of things that you have to overcome, and I feel like this is being really unfairly compared. You have a transparent, product with full flexibility and access compared to a product with almost zero transparency, and it's just not fair to compare. I would win the debate every time. Let's say that. Every time. Like, just tell me where to show up and I'll go. Okay, well, if you want to learn more about life insurance, now, if you want to learn more about how we operate, visit us at peakwm.com. You can even schedule online.